Wild and wacky. Week number 12 in the NFL. To be a first-place team meant that you were an endangered species, and even the undefeated were not spared. The undefeated, of course, the 49ers, looking for a record 19th straight win. Started back in last year, but against the Rams, Buford McGee became, quote, a quarterback. This is a touchdown pass to Cleveland Gary. The Niners fall at the stick, 28-17. So could the Giants and Bill Parcells remain undefeated? They had a tough task at Philadelphia. Look at Randall Cunningham's throw, doink, and it's a touchdown. Deflected to Calvin Williams. Philly leads it 24-13. 22 seconds later, Seth Joyner bats it. Byron Evans snares it. And the Eagles knock the Giants from the ranks of the undefeated 31-13. The Bears had only lost once, but the Vikings wanted to show their muscle in the Metrodome. Herschel, Mike Lynn is a genius. Look at him dish. Mark Carrier there. The touchdown pass from Gannon. Herschel had a pair of TDs today. 7 sacks, including this one by Joey Browner. The Bears were slaughtered 41-13. First place in the AFC West. Could Bo and Marcus get it running against the Chiefs? Marcus ran for 3 touchdowns, including this 11-yard scamper. But for the second time this year, it was Kansas City that handled the Raiders. Steve DeBerg to Emil Harry. 19 yards, 27-24, the Chiefs, who tie the Raiders for first place. Would Cincinnati look high atop the Indianapolis Colts today? Look that way. Eric Dickerson, 43 yards, including this. Leave! He had 143 yards on the day. Jeff Boy George, he was impressive. To Billy Brooks, Bengals fall to the Colts for the second time in 2 years, 34-20. Joe Walt fired as Jets coach back in the Meadowlands against the Jets and Steelers offensive coordinator. Ken O'Brien, no, he's looking for Al Toon, picked up by Larry Griffin. So is Walton and Chuck Noll's defense that helped set up a Merrill Hodge touchdown to make them lead 17-7. Then look at Bobby. Avoid the rush. Oh, let me tell you about Louis Litt. And the Steelers win it 24-7. They're back in the first place tie. Tommy Hudson got the start for New England at Phoenix, somewhere in the desert. And late in the first half, he hooks up with starving Marvin Cook. Touchdown, we're tied at 14. First round pick, not Johnny Johnson, Anthony Thompson, other rookie. Rubbed for 136 yards. The Patriots have lost 9 in a row. Phoenix dished them 34-14. At New Orleans, the Falcons and the Saints, what do you expect? Late in the game with a 3-0 New Orleans lead, Chris Miller to George English Muffin Thomas. 51 yards, the Falcons lead at 7-3. With under 3 minutes to go, Steve Walsh to the all-time leading pass receiver of the Saints, Eric Martin. The game-winning touchdown. Saints beat the Falcons 10-7. Atlanta's lost 16 straight on the road. Bucks at the Packers. Magic didn't play. Vinny did. Didn't work. Although at times, Vinny looked okay. Testaverde to Bruce Hill. Vinny threw for 281 yards, but the man that played instead of the Magic Man, Anthony Dillway. Pair of touchdowns. This one to Sterling Sharp. They're doing the Lindy in Milwaukee. The Packers are 6-5. They win it 20-10. Miami at Cleveland. This man, Dan Marino, had reason to smile. Spotted 8 different receivers today against the Browns. Mark Duper, 5-yard touchdown. Then he goes to James Pruitt for 35 yards. Marino, the 12th man in NFL history to get to the 30,000-yard plateau as the Dolphins beat the Browns 30-13. So all 5 first-place teams were losers this afternoon. The only first-place team that didn't lose, Buffalo. They didn't play. Wonder how they're feeling going into their Monday nighter against the Oilers at the Astrodome. While we're still wondering who's going to win it all in the NFL, it's all over in the CFL. Congratulations in a Smythe Division matchup. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers bested the Edmonton Eskimos 50-11 to win the CFL championship in the Grey Cup played in Vancouver. Greg Battle returned an interception for a touchdown for Winnipeg, not Greg Buttle, the former Jet, but Greg Battle. At any rate, back to the NFL, and Tom Jackson joins me now. And both the Niners and the Giants losers today, Tommy, as we just saw the highlights briefly. Is it too much these days to ask any team to go undefeated, really?
I think so, Chris. You know, even with the lack of excellence that we're seeing throughout the league, I think when you ask a team to get up psychologically, emotionally, physically, every week for 16 weeks, I think it's just a bit much.
I don't think it was a question of looking past the foes. We know that because the Giants know the Eagles and the Niners know the Rams. And a matter of fact, it probably helped the Eagles and the Rams big time because they've had success against the Giants and Niners. They know them very well. For example, in the first game, the one at Philadelphia, the Eagles swept the Giants, Tommy, in 88 and 89 because they pressured Phil Simms.
And even though they only got the 2 sacks today, they managed to stay in Simms' face. They forced him into mistakes. Here we'll see Reggie White getting after him from the backside, forcing him out of the pocket. He throws a lame duck pass. It's not picked off. But that's the kind of pressure that he was under all day.
You know what was impressive today? Randall Cunningham has grown in the last month in the pocket, hasn't he?
I think not only in the pocket, but he's creating that calm that we see in the pocket. When Randall began this game, the first quarter especially, he did a lot of running. He broke out of the pocket. He made the defense then go to a control rush so that he had the time to throw the football later on.
What did we learn about the Giants that we didn't know today?
I think that this team, if they are forced into having to throw the football the way the Niners did to them last year, they may have a problem. This offensive line is run-oriented, and if they have to throw the football, they may have a problem.
All right, so the Niners, though, fell to the Rams, and one thing we've grown to count on for the 49ers is impeccable play. But when Joe Montana's picked off 3 times, we're reminded that he's human. When Jerry Rice fumbles a reception, we are reminded that he's human. So the 2 guys who were probably MVP in the league together were both very human today, and the Rams ran it up the gut, Tommy.
And they ran the ball 37 times for 111 yards. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. That's a little less than 3 yards a carry. But the thing it does, I think if you have consistency and you stay with that running game, then maybe at the end of the game you get one of those 11-play drives because they're a little bit worn down.
Yeah, they were worn down. But I'll tell you what, winning 10 out of 11, there's nothing wrong with that. We congratulate the Niners and the Giants for going, at least thus far. Their game on December 3rd on Monday night will still be in use.